Hi friends, we are outside. I waited after dinner, so hopefully it won't be as busy. I'll show you what I'm going to try to paint. It's this, I showed you a photo of it last night. It's this row of houses here. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to hear me for the traffic. It is better this time of the night. Okay, we got you set up pretty good. Got one of our 6x18 canvases. And I adjusted my view catcher pretty tiny. I think that's about 3 times as long as it is tall. First thing I do is when I'm going to plein air paint usually is I get out of the car, I grab my view catcher and I walk around to figure out what I want to paint. Tonight I knew what I was coming to paint. So we'll see how this goes. This may take a while to get on the canvas. I'll be squeezing out more paints. For now I've just got out my transparent red oxide and my ultramarine. And again, I apologize if you can't hear me very well. It's a little windy. I feel like I'm missing one of the hooks on my easel up here. It was that way when I bought it. I bought it from a friend. Trying to make it a little more level. I think that looks a little better. All right. Let's see what we can do. So hold up to my eye and look through here. The first little red house ends about there. Just try to make some reference marks for us. Actually, that green one, I think is about there. It's a lot of information to get in a one house I can't see real good for a telephone pole. I mean, that's always the way it is. I'm on a corner though. That's one suggestion I would make to you. If you get on the corner, nobody can park in front of you. I don't think they're allowed to park across the street there in front of those houses. I hope. I don't think so. And no one can park on the corner here, so because it's very aggravating to get started and then you lose your view. The first house is very high up on the canvas. They kind of all run down, call that a one-point perspective. And all run down that way. And the bottom of them, of course, kind of run up that way. Everything heads toward the horizon line. See what we're seeing of the first house. I debated about putting part of this red house in, but I kind of like it, so. Maybe quieter than I usually am because it's just noisier. This I determined was, let me look through that again. I say I painted this before. And the sun's coming to the side of all these houses this time of day. Kind of just suggesting where the windows and the doors are. And I thought about coming out earlier today, but it's been so windy all day. I think of everything, I find the wind the most aggravating. More than, I think, anything. More than the heat or the bugs or the... I did take my gouache out today and walk to the park, and I sketched. I did a little gouache sketch of a red bud. And I had a great big bee interested in me the whole time. Chimney there, I like that. There's trees behind, just starting to leaf out. Just kind of building it as I go, you know. When we move to the next house down, where does it hit in relation to the roof of this house? And that's what I'm looking for. And I can hold my brush out for those angles. Needs to come back a little more that way. Well, I'm glad I came now that I'm here. Lawnmower riding by. It's got a sidewalk out in front, typical little quaint setting. Let me check that roof angle. Got a little steep. I mostly kind of got the first one started, and then I've kind of been going off of that for everything else. Doesn't always work, but let me check the angle of that side of that house. It's pretty straight, actually. Okay, let me look at this a little bit better, because if I get one really off, then I'm going to be fighting it. I'm looking at how much of the side of this house do I see. I need to bring it back maybe a little bit. We'll see how far we get tonight. Okay, let's see where this hits in relation to this. It is pretty close. Might be up a little more. But I moved that porch down too far and I got everything kind of out of whack. So I'm trying to get things worked out before we start laying paint on it. The house next door hits the roof about there. And it runs pretty straight out. And the bottom of the roof hits this little house about there. And I can't see everything on that house. It's behind a pole. Sometimes you have to tweak it from your photograph or step out and make adjustments. Step into the side so I can see another porch. Lots of porches. In the front of that house, let me look. Okay, it's a door and a window. So it's a door and a window. The next house, I can see a chimney here. Love that little kind of detail. The next one, kind of hard to see. It comes out. Where does it hit? It's about there. This morning the light would have been coming that way, obviously. Looks like a window and a door. There's a shadow here. Motorcycles are out today. They've been waiting too, haven't they, for some decent weather. A lot of them have radios on them now, I've noticed. They go by with music blasting. And this guy here is going to be our focal point. Got some interesting things going on with the light from the house next door. That's a shadow. I'm going to go ahead and grab that shadow before it changes. You got to go for the light or the shadow early on and, get it in there. There's a dormer there. Yeah, because this light's going to be shifting around quick, so you can pick either one, but you don't want to chase it if you can help it. I've done a lot of that. Another shadow there. And I probably am going to get, I can't really, you're going to get a photo of it, but I'm filming on you, so I can't. shadow there. That's an unusual little house. It's got a door kind of on the corner. And it comes in and over. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I want to try to remember where these shadows are so I get them. That's all shadowed there. That's shadowed there. That's a shadow there. This again is going to be our focal point, this house, because of the color and because of the light. Alright, boy, the next little house, I can't see much of it. From where I am, I think I see a porch, and then I think we'll kind of do a tree down there. Alright, let's see where we're seeing trees at. Behind here. And actually all behind here. They'll run off there. Up down into here. Let's see how far we get. You know, maybe we'll at least get it blocked in, and then we can. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go after the light parts and get those nailed. It might not be the smartest thing to do because there's more bright light than there is shadow. I'm going to do it anyway. All right, we might need to get a few more paints out here before we start. I really just, oops. I pulled you off. Pulled my mic off my collar. There, got you back. All right, so I'm going for the lightest part of the greenhouse first. And you can mix it up and put it on your palette knife. You can even try to hold it out to your subject and kind of compare. I want it to feel warm. I got lucky and I'm under a tree, kind of. Hopefully the sun as it gets lower won't bother me. All right, let's go after that nice bright light on this house. I'm gonna wipe off any of this stuff that's gonna mess it up. Hi, late day.
What's up?
Late day, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Mailman's. I mean, late for you, isn't it, to be working?
Huh?
Late to be working, I mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
To deliver mail? Yeah. Mailman going by, working still. Wipe off the darks that's in my light area. trying to go after the lightest parts, the part that the sun's catching. And we're catching a little sunlight too now. I don't like that as much. I hope you can see okay. Okay, let's move on to the next brightly lit part, which would be the house next door to it, which is a white house. So we'll do white and a little yellow. A little touch of solvent. I actually have 4 paintings here sitting near me that are all town paintings I threw in and brought along with me just in case, I talked to somebody and they were interested. Maybe pass up a chance to sell. Someone's interested in the painting I did last night, the barn setting. Maybe. She's got to see how it works for her, but she really loved it. That's the thing, you just want people to appreciate it, even if they don't buy it. I love that she loves it. It's like if I'm doing a show, people stop by to see your work and they're complimentary, even if they don't buy. I mean, that's feels good, Okay, what else is catching nice light? Of course, the whole roof is. This white building, this building's dark here. This whole building's blocking it except the roof. And then the top of this building here is catching light. It's gray. I'm always saying it's like a puzzle. Locking in the puzzle shapes. Okay. This part of the building's in shadow. This is very light, but I'm not sure, how light we want that to be. I don't want to pull your eye clear over to the edge, so maybe not. Let's mix up something for this. It's catching a lot of light. It's a gray color. This is actually a pretty busy town on the weekends. There's a lot of restaurants in this town. I didn't actually realize how busy it was till last summer. I was coming up here painting a lot, and especially on the weekends I'd set up and there were just people everywhere. We got one of those, I don't know if it's a law, if that's what you would call it, where you can walk around with open container from restaurant to restaurant. Yeah, see, I'm starting to catch some sunlight, which I wish I wouldn't actually. In that same mixture, I'm gonna put I'm gonna warm it up a little bit. And I'm gonna move to this down here because it's also catching light. So we're jumping all over, I'm trying to get the light and shadows. A little noisier than my studio, huh? But actually it's a quieter time of day. Blocking in the chimney. Darker as it goes away. All right, trying to see where we are here. This porch roof is getting some light, kind of at that angle. This porch is also. And if you've not painted outside before, the light and the shadows move really quick on you, so you gotta really resist chasing them, Pick one and stay with it. Ooh, it's really windy. And this is a lot of information. I think into that green mixture I'm going to mix some ultramarine because I want it to still be green, but I want it to be darker. Let's see. One nice thing without going out in the evening, now that we've got longer days too, is, I'm parked near a business here and they're closed. I probably could not park there during the day, so one thing to think about too. It's still warm, but it was supposed to be like 85 today. My one grandson has prom tonight. A little warm for it, isn't it? I said they'd have been more comfortable. It actually would have only been like, 75. blocking that in as a dark shape, but there's windows and doors in there that we're going to have to go in and get. Yep. Got a bug on me already. One thing I usually do too is spray my ankles right off the bat, but I'm kind of mostly standing on the sidewalk here tonight, so this is pretty nice. Said I usually get out of the car, I grab my view catcher, and I walk around and look for what I'm going to paint normally. Hopefully you find something that excites you. Often I don't. I suppose you could drive yourself crazy with a scene like this, really, you know, there's just so much information. All right, let's go for the front of that house over there, the red house. Yeah, did you hear me talking to the mailman? Yeah, he was still delivering mail. They never used to work those kind of hours. And I'm not sure how much I want to, again, explain over there. You know, actually it's catching light like everything else on that side, but again, I don't want to pull your eye over there. You know, and value is more important than color. Always keep that in mind. Try to nail the value, and then it'll read right, even if you didn't quite nail the color. You know, like I said, in actuality, this is very light over here, but I'm not sure, you know, if I want to pull your eye over there too much, so. Yeah, I don't know how far we'll get there. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Across this window here is a porch. door right here. Like a little transom thing on top. I have had my whole easel blow to the ground before. And of course your painting lands face down. Just has to, right? I've been out with a French easel and they're heavy, and I've had it blow to the ground. Yeah, this light's messing with me a little bit. I'm not sure about that. I probably won't put you through a long time, maybe an hour of this, and then I'll decide if I want to keep going or not. And it's a fun experience being out plein air painting. I don't think there's many people around now, but you always get people. They always know someone that paints. They always tell you, I can't even draw a stick figure. They point out, do you know who Bob Ross is? I hear that a lot. I said, and they always got an aunt that paints or somebody, you know. Or they'll say, I find men do it more than women. Men will say, if I stand here, will you paint me in? I say, if you can stand there a couple hours. But they're being cute with you. Flirty, I guess. I got that last week when I was out. Guy stopped at a stop sign in front of me. He's like, you gonna paint me in? Or I have had cases where people talk to you. They stand there and talk to you the whole time you're painting. You know, when you're really trying to think. But to them, it just looks like you're out there having fun, you know. Brightening up the sides of these chimneys, and they won't feel right till we get the sky painted in, you know. See, I can't even see from here some of this stuff. Again, that's a shadow. So that whole side would be shadowed. But I do want to lighten it up. Kind of almost like a boarded up window right there. That's the one I really can't see the front of. Wow, that was a car. I thought that was a motorcycle. And that one looks like the roof is kind of burgundy, so that whole house must be shadowing that side. And I see another roof down there that's catching light too. This one right here. Remember, I put the shadow shape in below it. I'm going to go through that to lighten it up some. See this house here. All I see is a porch sticking out. So we'll probably just make this all a tree shape down here. I feel like that's a little dark. I want it to read as green. Just jumping all around. Going after the lights mostly. So if you've not done plein air, I wouldn't recommend you take on something like this. I would suggest you go out and do a simple, maybe some trees, maybe a field. Start simple. This is not simple. This is, you might get discouraged if you start with something like this. Same as if you're learning to paint. Start with simple still lifes, maybe an apple, keep it simple. But again, I wouldn't take on something like this first time out. I love buildings and light on buildings, but I've done a lot more of it, you know. And you can see the tone helps, I mean, if you haven't been doing that. This house actually has a bit of a yellow kind of cast to it. So I'm going to, even though this is shadowed, I'm going to keep it darker, but I'm going to yellow it up a little bit, you know. And there's some kind of so we're moving along. Got quiet, isn't that nice? It won't last. And actually, like, this is like a lattice here. You know, we'll have to decide how to handle that. I'll probably go back in. I'll just show you what I'm going to do. Go back in, wipe it out. And you want to see through it, so I'm getting flower petals all over my paint. So you could block it in dark or you could block it in light, either one. But you got to keep the value different than what you're putting on top of it. So I went a little bit darker. And I've been pretty fortunate over the years. I haven't really had anybody bother me. You know, you do want to pick some place where you feel safe. Better to pick some place where people's around, you know. Some kind of a step right there. I have to tell you about a really cute experience I had one time. Painting in town here, right at the main intersection up there, and a school bus went by, and all these little kids, I don't know what age they were, was like, "Can we see what you're doing?" They were, you know, stopped at the light, so I turned the painting around and showed them, and they all started clapping. Isn't that the cutest thing? Made my day. I'm trying to make this building feel green. You know, it's a little mixed up, isn't it? We'll see. You know, I'm not sure if I'll be satisfied with that in the end or not. You know, I went after what I saw is what I did. right. Well, I may just call it. I'm not going to quit, but I may just let you go for now. Let me show you before I let you go. Grab the paint. Like I said, I've done this a couple times. Let me show you. I've got those with me. This was another time I was up here. Of course, I'm getting a lot of shadow and light. Sorry, you can't see it better. But that was another time I was up here. And then there was a yellow house like 2 or 3 doors to the left here. And one day I sat in the car and started with that one and worked my way down to, they aren't in our scene today, but I hope you heard that. I had the mic off. I was just saying that the greenhouse is in the one, if you could tell. There was a lot of shadow. And then I painted a couple houses to the left another time. That's in the other one. All right, we're going to sign off, and at least you got to see me start. I'm going to keep tweaking the houses. I'll be blocking in the trees and getting some sky color in there. Hope to get most of it blocked in before I quit. So, but I didn't want to make this like a 2-hour video because I'm going to be here a while. All right, thanks for joining me. Watch for me next time. Good night.